But anyways,
Well, good morning. Thank you for joining us for another little weekly edition of our real estate backstory. My name is Alan Richardson. I'm the managing broker here at Maximum One Realtor Partners.
my name is Richardson. I'm the compliance broker for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
And we're blessed to kind of host you every week when we kind of go over kind of the comings and goings and all the things happening in the real estate world here in the Atlanta market, and just kind of things we see kind of coming along, trying to help you start your week. So it's going to be a holiday week. A lot of people are moving around this week. There's a lot of traveling going on, that kind of stuff. And so at the same time, we have, I'm hearing from a lot of realtors that they're like, that they don't think this is a good time for real estate. They think it's a bad time for real estate. And I really need you to think again. Now is the time to re-engage with your clients. I mean, like traditionally from now through New Year's is traditionally our slowest time of the year. We lose 2 complete weeks of marketing time, generally speaking. We lose the week of Thanksgiving. We lose the week between Christmas and New Year's. And sometimes we, depending on where it falls, we could almost lose 2 weeks there. So, during this time of year, it's so easy for folks to just kind of get into shutdown mode. Like, all right, well, I'm just going to kind of phone it in. I'm not going to worry about it. But see, what you do now is what's going to drive you to success come January, February, that kind of stuff. And we have a lot of positive things happening in real estate right now. Like the direction of interest rates are going, things like that. So we have a lot of really great things, but none of that happens if you get into the dumps. If you think this is bad, when really this is the time to engage, re-engage, follow up with clients, that kind of thing.
Honestly, with Thanksgiving just right around the corner this week, it's a great time to call your client and tell them how thankful you are for their business. And also, in a conversation, request that, the biggest compliment you can pay me is a referral. So, even though they themselves may not be moving, but they know someone else, you will love to help them. So, use the word thankfulness and have an engagement.
Now, there was a new study that came out this past week, and it talked about the link between clutter and depression. And I know it seems like a weird thing to talk about for real estate, but like one of the things that we're kind of encouraging you to do is to go out and engage and reach out to your clients. And we also know from listing a lot of homes over the years, like one of the best things you can do to secure higher value for your clients is if it's clean and decluttered. I mean, like when we go on listing appointments, it's always about declutter, get rid of these kind of things. Well, now there's actually scientific evidence that not only is it good for home sales, but it's actually good for people in general.
Their psyche. I mean, when you feel like, oh my goodness, I spend this much money on this product and it just sits there, that can be a little depressing.
Well, but there's a direct link between cortisol levels in female homeowners and a high density of household objects. So the more stuff, the more stressed that ladies tend to get. Guys are not normally that big a deal kind of thing.
What do you say?
Yeah, well, no, I'm just saying. A lot of it's also that a lot of ladies also, they associate a tidy home with a successful family, and that clutter can kind of like lead to like the feeling of paralysis in there. I saw a recent study which also said that in the U.S. we have 3% of all the kids in the entire world, but we also have 40% of all the toys. So we collect a lot of stuff, and so a lot of the same messages that we can do to help our clients to sell their home can also help with their mental stability, help with their mental health. And that this is also for those folks who are saying, we're going to wait until after the holidays. There's too much going on right now. Declutter, clean, organize, prepare your home to sell, those kind of things. Because normally, even though we're down some, we're still above where we were several years ago. And we're also following very seasonal trends. And so even though we're going down right now, or our normal bell-shaped curve is the same as it is, January, things really do start ramping up. But now's the engagement time, and that's a good thing to kind of share out there with the engagement. One thing that we wanted to kind of share with you guys today was that, at the same time as all that's going on, homeowners are all in on home improvement right now. And so you can see kind of what's happening with
Home
Home Depot and
Lowe's.
Lowe's. They are really kind of blowing up. And so on one hand, we've seen where a lot of sellers have said, well, with the crazy interest rates and things like that, I'm just going to go ahead and invest in my home. Well, but a lot of folks are also preparing their homes to sell. Again, reasons to reach out for us to be engaging with our clients, but now's the time to do it. If you wait until January and February to try and reach out to clients, at that
You're a
point,
little late.
you're more than a little. Yeah, you're totally late at that point. So
Please do reach out to your client
Yep.
and start the engagement now.
So
Let's talk about the mortgage rate.
So they actually went down
Yay.
a little bit more, kind of thing. So they came in at 6.61, which it seems odd to be where we were in January and say that we just came down to 6.61, but it has dropped from its record high, kind of thing. Now we do still see a lot of volatility going back and forth in our markets, but it is kind of good to kind of see that that's kind of where and I'll share with you some more stuff here in a minute about what other things we're seeing in the marketplace right now. But mortgage rates are looking like they've stabilized and are actually moving in the right direction now. Now, one piece of bad news came out is that the typical homeowner in the United States, or the typical buyer in the United States, needs $107,000. And so here in Georgia, that's actually $99,000. And so the annual income required to afford the median priced home here in Georgia is 99 grand. And so when you're talking to just, and we give that to you as a benchmark, right? Basically your clients need to make $100,000 right now. If they're not, then they're probably going to have a very difficult time.
Home. This is not the first time home starter home with DPA programs or anything like that. So this is just the average.
Yep. Now at the same time, Lawrence Yun, and I'm like a big fanboy of Lawrence Yun. He's the economist for the National Association of Realtors, and so he is and he gave a talk this past week, and where he was like, hey, I really see that mortgage rates have kind of topped out. On one hand, the fact that inflation is starting to come into control is a really good thing. And so not that inflation was great. Look, it came down like 7.5%, 7.7, something like that, which is not what I call stellar, but we've kind of reversed the trend for where that's going. So at the same time, there is a, like if you look at the historical gap, because mortgage rates follow the 10-year treasury, and it follows that with kind of a spread, that gap between what the treasury is and what the mortgage rates are. And since we've seen the rise of interest rates, that spread, those lenders have been padding their spreads. So the spread is higher than it's normally been in the past. Actually, if we followed historical normal trends, our mortgage rates would be 5.8%, not 7. Or not 6.61 this week, kind of thing. And so as we see inflation disappearing, as we see inflation mitigating, as the lenders are feeling less and less risk and challenges there and less anxiety, we should see the interest rates dropping a little bit, but also that spread tightening up a little bit. Now, that being said, what do you do in the interim? Well, we've been talking for folks for several weeks now about doing different buy downs. And so this is kind of how like a 2-1 buy down works. So, the first year, so basically, you buy down a mortgage rate. And by the way, we asked this also a couple of weeks ago, was like, is this legal? Yes, this is absolutely legal to be able to buy down rates. And so rather than buying down your mortgage rates total, we're seeing a lot more, we're inclined to guide our clients into like a 2-1 buy down or a 3-2-1 buy down, where for the first year, mortgage rates drops by 2%, and the second year it drops by 1%, and the third year it's back to full price,
which is 6.5. And something that Alan and I always talked about: marry the house, not the rate. So date the rate. So you can go back and always refinance within a 2-year period of time before it inflate back to 6.5. But even at 6.5 is not ridiculous. We just been really spoiled during downturn markets that go during COVID time, my apology, and have phenomenal interest rates.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going back to 3s. Okay, let's just face facts. But if we can get it back down into the 5s, I think we'll be in really, really good shape. Now, this is what a 3-2-1 buy downs. We aren't really seeing very many of these. With a 3-2-1, same kind of principle. For the first year, you're buying it down by 3 points, then 2 points, then a point, then that's in there. And so, we're seeing where the cost of that mortgage is really kind of spendy. We are seeing a lot more 2-1s, and we feel very confident with what we see happening with interest rates and what the future is. FHA said that they see by the end of 2023 rates being at 4.5. I don't see them going that low next year. I really don't. But like a lot of the indicators are this is a smart play. Rather than buying your rates down a little bit over the long term, chances are we're going to be seeing a refi boom sometime next year.
Right.
With that.
With the next probably middle year.
Yeah. So also as part of that same conversation that he had, Lawrence Young had last week, again, I know I'm a fanboy kind of thing. He is predicting that home prices won't experience a major decline. And especially I can speak for here in the Atlanta area, we're looking at that. And he's, his quote is, home prices are holding steady since available inventory is extremely low. It's coming down to supply versus demand is really where it comes down to, kind of thing.
And we still have a lot of pent up demand.
Yep.
Unfortunately, those demand are not being met because high interest rate. So once again, it is, when you're a listing agent, have a conversation with your seller about buy downs and let them know that, most of your buyer during COVID time were used to doing their own down payment, doing their own closing costs. So if the seller can buy down the rates, I think that would help tremendously.
Yeah, at the same time, and so not at the same time, but then they kind of released what are they looking at for the 2023 forecast, 2024 forecast kind of thing. And so they're looking at total number, just the number of sales being down 7%, which is substantially better than this year is, but prices still going up. Mm-hmm. And then in 2024, they're looking at a 10% jump in sales as well as additional property value increases.
Well, just because it's a numbers game. At a certain point of age, you want to have a home because you're tired of paying rent. Not only that, rent is constantly going up. So therefore, at some point, the pent-up demand is going to make the buyer save more money in order to qualify.
Well, the thing is, and one of the big issues that I feel that we're going to have over the next several months is I'm going to wait until the market crashes. I've been waiting, and we have folks that have been waiting now for years for the market to crash, and we're not looking at property values. And so, like if you don't want to buy this house today because you think it's too expensive, then let's wait a year and you can buy this house for more money. Correct. Is really what it's coming down to. We're not looking at any kind of mass property values at all, especially here in Atlanta area. We're in really, really good shape. So at the same time, one market that we know is very challenging is single family rent. And so now that being said, single family rent growth has softened, kind of thing. And so it is not at the same rate of appreciation. That being said, it's 10% up in the Atlanta area. For the Atlanta area, we're at a 10% rent growth annually right now. So it's not like it is better, but that's not a safe space for the rent to own people that have been trying, like Divvy Homes, that kind of stuff. Divvy just this past week released that they are going to make all their offers are going to be coming in at 10 to 20% below list price, which we think is absolutely ridiculous. But it really does kind of show what's going on with that. So many of the iBuyers are really, really challenged right now. And even though Divvy isn't quote unquote a true iBuyer, they are of sorts, kind of thing. Same thing with American Home Partners, that kind of stuff. The rent to own folks are really backing out of the market and only making what I would call crazy lowball offers.
Well, they're projecting that the market will depreciate, and therefore they don't want to be stuck holding their property that they can't turn around and sell. So they're looking at their total cost in reselling property just in case.
Now, one of the challenges not one, but one of the big challenges is that the CFPB just handed out like 27,000 or has received 27,000 complaints in the last 3 years about tenant screening, and that trend is actually going up. And so, but the number one issue like 65% of folks that are complaining to the Consumer
CFPB.
Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, is that there's incorrect information on the report. Like that's the biggie. And so like a lot of these reports are wrong, and so we know it's a challenging market for our renters out there, and at the same time I want, like we have to look at where does wealth in the United States come from. And so this shows like if you look at US net worth, as far as like what are the net worth of the top 50% of Americans kind of thing. Guess what? On average, 2/3 of all net worth comes from home equity. 2/3. Like, and actually, the lower the percentage you go, the higher that net equity is. And so, folks are, like wealth in the United States is tied up in home ownership. So if you are going to rent, we're still seeing increased rental values. We're seeing property values that are going to be going up in the future. We're seeing where mortgage rates are coming down. We have some additional products like the 2-1s, that kind of stuff. But if they keep renting, then they're always going to keep renting. And then there is no net worth that grows going down the rental path. It just doesn't happen.
Management for rentals.
Yep. Now,
I mean, I understand there's time people need to rent because job relocation.
Or if you're not going to live in the home for a long time.
Right. So, but if you're planning on staying in a certain city, it is better for you to go ahead and buy.
So at the same time, we know that housing affordability is really, really low. And so the builder sentiment has really been like that's been driving the home builder sentiment at the same time. And so we've seen what's happened with construction. And so right now, single family construction is down 20%. Now, one of the negatives that I feel is that multifamily construction is up 17. And so we're building more apartments. And that's the, for us, that's the challenge, is that, wealth in the United States is tied up in home ownership. Doesn't matter if it's an apartment owner or if it's a single family homeowner, it's tied up in home ownership. So if that investor owns that apartment complex, they're the ones capturing the wealth, not the renter. The renters are the one that's paying for the wealth for those multifamily. And so even though overall construction doesn't, is down, all of that is down in single family. And that's a worry for us at the same time. And we know that that's largely fueled by what's going on with our mortgage payments. We've been seeing that, but we got to look at some other numbers in greater detail here. And so first of all, our median sale price right now is about 2.8% year over year. Now, these are national numbers. We pull up the regional numbers on not every single week. However, our median asking price is 5.8. So we got about a 3% spread between
what's asking versus what's sold.
Yep. Exactly.
So,
and so
be conscientious when you are doing a listing appointment to ensure that you are pricing the property just right.
Yep.
Because otherwise it's still on market for a while.
And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the properties that are just sitting there. Those are the ones that are not priced, tough. And we know that's a challenging conversation. It is a tough one to have.
And pricing sometimes more than just the neighborhood itself. It's about the property condition and how the house is presented. The less clutter it is going to present in a better light.
Now, this is our pending sales, and we've known that pending sales are going down. Now, some of this are just seasonal trends, but at the same time, if you were like this says 2021, 2022, or 2020 and 2021 on here, if you look at the previous years, we're actually up over those years, right? If you look at 2019, 2018, 2017. So it's not like we're in uncharted territory.
Because 2021 and 2020 was not a benchmark of our usual activities.
Those were not normal years kind of thing. And so our new listings are down about 19%. And that's a big number, right? When you consider we're almost down 20% of our new listings. However, our active listings are inching up. So we're seeing where some homes that are sitting on the market and are just staying there. And like we have a lot of sellers that I'll just wait for the price. And even though I don't see prices depreciating, we don't see that appreciation that we saw, in the summer last year, that kind of thing.
Right.
And so those sellers could just stick it out there, and I don't want to do any repairs, and I just want to sell as is, all cash, no financing, That's not
That's
market.
not how it is
Yeah.
right now. We've seen more FHA, VA, some DPA
Yeah.
even
Well, but
come online.
and this ties directly to 29% of homes for sale in the third quarter were new construction. That's a record high. We have more new construction homes for sale now than we have. And the challenge, we know that the builders are on the high end of our clients out there.
Right.
And so, like here in the office, we're seeing builders stop by all the time, and they want to take us to lunch, and there's all kinds of boosts and bumps and that kind of stuff.
And also a lot of email out in reference to buyer incentives, buy downs and stuff like that. So, they're hurting as well, just like everybody else, because they bought the items, material at a much higher price, but at the same time.
So the good news in Atlanta is it's not as bad as that. So nationwide, it's up almost 30%. Here we're at 20. And so what they're looking at are the pandemic boom towns, those areas that values really, really shot up kind of thing. Some places in Texas, California, that kind of stuff. Some of the really crazy Florida markets where they have just this massive number of new construction homes. And since we are on the lower end of that, so we're only up about 2% year over year. So we don't have nearly the level of new construction inventory that other areas have, which, it's very indicative of what we're seeing in our market, in that we're not seeing property values decline in there. And so where someplace, nationwide, it might be up 30%. Still, for us, our benchmark is, 1/5 of all the homes for sale right now are still new construction. So that is a good place for inventory, but we got to make sure that the folks can afford it and they have to feel comfortable with it. So we're currently sitting at 3 months of supply and now these are nation numbers. And so that you can see that number's been averaging up. Now, if you look at this comparatively, we need 6 months to have a flat market. However, this is what our area is. So for all the FMLS area, we're sitting at 2.4 months of inventory. Is it trending up? Yeah, but we're not even halfway.
We're 1.2% lower than national average right now.
So we need 6 months of standing inventory to have a balanced market. So we're nowhere near there.
But with that said, it's one of those things that the seller are listing their property way too high, and that's why we do have some inventory. So, and with the interest rate, it is just that. I mean,
well, but what we're seeing is like 33% of our sales are still under contract within 2 weeks. A third of all our sales are under contract in 2 weeks, which means that even though we've got some folks that this is my price, I want this price, no, that kind of thing. We're also seeing where the folks who are pricing their homes properly, they're well maintained, they're fixed up, that kind of stuff, boom, they're selling quickly.
Absolutely.
So, right now we're selling at homes the median 35 days on the nation. Still, 1 out of 4 homes is selling for at or above list price.
That's great.
That's a really, and so it's not as high as it was the last 2 years, but no one wanted it to be as high as it has been the last 2 years, kind of thing. Because at the same time, we have more properties taking price reduction. So,
7.6%.
we've got 2 very different groups of sellers out there. We got the folks who say it's a seller's market, I can do what I want, and I'm just going to stick it out there. And the folks who are being very realistic about what they're putting out there.
And you got sellers say, okay, let's start with this price. Let's see it sticks.
Yep.
And, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's a timing issue, and it's about demands.
And if you have someone do that, say, okay, we'll try this for a week, or but at the end of this day, we have to go to this price. By this day, we have to be at this price because we got 2 weeks to get a full price offer. And so,
and don't be shocked if you list a property, don't immediately have a showing request. My last listing, it took about 4 or 5 days before I have showing that coming in, even though I listed on Wednesday night, Thursday morning. So just don't be surprised that buyer is taking a little more time to look at the inventory because they gotta talk to the lender.
And you only need one offer to
right.
get a deal. Like the days of like we've had sellers like, I only got 5 offers. Should we wait? No, you need to go.
And sometimes the first offer is your best offer. Look at how the contract is written, because if the contract written with a bunch of stipulation, you're in for a rocky road sometime.
All right. So Instagram. So if you have changed your Instagram profile to business, and then you can log in through the Facebook Business Suite, and now you can schedule Instagram posts ahead of time through the app, through Facebook Business Suite. Because I mean, we've been able to do this on our Facebook business pages already for a long time, but Instagram, this has not been something that we've been able to schedule ahead. And a lot of times we're out busy doing things, that kind of stuff. So for real estate professionals, this can be a really nice bump here, is that if you can go in and start scheduling your Instagram posts ahead of time, which also you can share out onto Facebook, because it doesn't work the other way. I can't share from Facebook to Instagram, but I
Yeah.
can share from Instagram to
There's
Facebook, kind
Facebook.
of thing. Being a holiday week, there really isn't very much CE this week. So on Tuesday, we have
There's a license law, and there's a lot of you I know have asked
Need
for
it.
it.
It's virtual.
Please sign up.
So
Okay.
the amazing Dana Sparks is teaching licensed law for agents and brokers virtual. Please go and sign up. This is a great week to kind of get it done. Also, you could spend some time getting caught up on your KB core. They still have all those classes all week long this week. So we hope that you guys have a great week. If we can be of any kind of service, please call, text, smoke signals. We answer it all. Love y'all. Bye.
Thank you, and have a great Thanksgiving. And we are very thankful for our staff,
Yeah.
our members here, and our agents. So thank y'all.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Monday.